Aloha! What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is I am the one and only Maxi here, and I am from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos once again. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll present to you our next Mario Kart Let's Play, and also a new Let's Play as well. Because previously we actually did Master Tackle for Mario Kart Arcade GP1, and now, for about a few months later, I would classify for saying 8 months later, because after all, that today's day is of course the 27th of November today. So here we are onto the forms of the sequel to Mario Kart Arcade GP, known as Mario Kart Arcade GP2. Now, as far as I can remember, that this game is more accurately an expansion to Mario Kart Arcade GP1 that did first came out in 2005, the first game, whilst the second game did manage to came out in 2007 in Japan and Europe. However, in America though, for some reason it doesn't come out until 2008. So it's like better late than never routine, I suppose. So it's almost like before Kirby Battle Royale game usually existence, which I have no words to say about this at this point. So anyway, so here it is, Mario Kart Arcade GP2, and as I said before, this is like the expansion to the original game with some new features in it. So even then though, like for instance, we actually stumbled across the forms of, well, 2 new playable characters, which are Waluigi and Momenchi from the Tamagotchi series. So it's pretty cool back then, so even then though, and as you can tell I'm going to be playing this on the Wii emulator, so just in case, much like the first game, that it runs quite well, with only one particular problem, which I'll point it out until specifically in the next video. So yeah, when you start the game off, as you notice that you have a Mario Kart, very much like the forms of the first game. I don't have it, but you can still able to actually customize your Mario Kart before you're able to actually get started with the game. And of course, like the first game, you can able to type your name in, so in this case, I'm just gonna have to able to make it a bit short, just to call it Max, but obviously I'm just gonna have to able to make it up as it is, so and what's also a much more of the improvement of the forms of how it does it on the first game is the fact that, well, at least to me anyway, and that is the fact that, well, I'll explain more details about this whenever we get this game started for reals, and another thing is worth noting for is the fact that this game does now have a special broadcast into the actual races themselves. Now, I don't know exactly what the voice actor was named, by the way, because it has been a really long time since I actually recently searched about this game, but there's an option you can able to actually adjust the settings right here, as you can tell from the Mario Kart data, that you can either turn on the picture taken on solo mode, or just simply turn it off, or you can able to actually turn the live announcements on or off. Now I'm gonna be doing this off mode just because, well, as far as I've seen a couple of Let's Plays of this game, and I'll explain more details about that as soon as we get this thing started. So, and of course, like before, we got ourselves the familiar selections of items ever since in Mario Kart Arcade GP1, like the Thunder Stick, as well as the square tires, and etc. And I think there's actually one significant difference this time around. I think it's more accurately lesser amount of items this time around, which I'm presuming that unlike the first game, it only contains like, I would say 93 items, which is quite a lot for a Mario Kart game. Whilst in here though, it just goes like a little bit more lesser than the forms of how it does it from the first game this time around, so. And of course, that unlike the forms of how it does it on the first game, that basically, I think you normally start the game off as in just only 100cc, and then you will unlock 150cc once you've completed the entire game. Whilst in here, you now have an option, you can either actually choose 3 different classes, which we have 50cc, 100cc, and 150cc from the get-go. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool, and everything else to be more specific. Now, originally, I was expecting to go up for the challenge for 150cc, but I'm actually going to be most likely focusing on 100cc for the majority of the Let's Play itself, unlike the console Mario Kart games, including the handheld titles as well. So, yeah, that might be something I would classify for noticing this. And, for the character roster, it's pretty much exactly the same as the first game, but with 2 new additional characters, such as, of course, like I mentioned earlier, Waluigi, as well as Momenchi from Tamagotchi games. So yeah, that does seem pretty nice, all things considered. some of these drivers are actually pretty easy, such as for instance Momenchi as well as Miss Pac-Man and Toad, but there are some drivers that are pretty hard to control. Like for instance Wario, Donkey Kong, and Bowser are, as you can see on screen, it did say for advanced players, which I'll show this off until later on, but for now I'm going to be selecting Toad for the first race throughout the game. So for cups wise, we actually got ourselves some familiar cups from the first game, such as for instance we have the Mario Cup, DK Cup, Wario Cup, Pac-Man Cup, and Bowser Cup, and the Unlockable Cup, which is of course once again the Rainbow Cup, once you're able to actually reach through the progressioning to the game. But also we got ourselves two new cups that is exclusive to this game, which are the Yoshi Cup and the Waluigi Cup, which I think both of those cups managed to contain like two new courses respectively. So for instance, here we go onto the first cup in the game, which does manage to take place in the Yoshi Cup, and it does manage to take place in Yoshi Park 1. So yeah, that's actually very promising, all things considered. And yeah, as you can tell, before you start the race off, is the fact that, as you can see, that the item icon they've shown you is the fact that that's where essentially you get out to get items in this game. So, very similar to the first game for sure. So, yeah, let's begin. Mario Kart Arcade GB2 on the arcade machines. So, yeah, for gameplay-wise, it plays exactly the same as the forms of how it does it on the first game, but as you can see on screen as we just drove them by, we actually stumbled across Mario coins this time around, which, what these Mario coins can do is the fact that we're assuming if, depending on what specific version you're playing, for Mario Kart Arcade GP2, basically, it allows you to be able to unlock specific stuff. For instance, for example, that as you notice on the main menu selection sometimes, that I don't actually access the time limit, unlike the actual arcade cabinet, that you basically do have a time limit to able to actually choose the menus, or choose specific characters, or choose specific carts and all that stuff, and also just take a picture and stuff like that, which, very similar to the first game for emulation and stuff like that, the camera function is pretty much muted for the most part, especially noticeable because obviously that we don't have a, well, the built-in webcam and stuff like that. So, yeah, I digress. Isn't that supposed to be Pac-Man or Junior Pac-Man or Pac-Man Junior just somehow showed up? Okay, that's actually pretty cool. Especially noticeable because of how the fact that once again it's been made by not only from Nintendo but also Namco as well, because obviously Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, and Blinky does make a return as playable characters, which unfortunately on the DX game, they somehow removed both Blinky and Miss Pac-Man, sadly. Well, it's kind of a shame, honestly, because I would like to be able to see those two characters make their return again for the likes of the arcade Mario Kart games, but it's a shame they don't do it every now and then, but oh well, no biggie, but hey, at least it's something to usually just classify for nosiness. Once again, you're still able to retain some of these familiar items from the first game, like I mentioned earlier, such as, for instance, these little squared tires, which allows you to able to slow down and stuff like that if you decide to able to throw it at certain opponents, as well as the basin, that you can able to actually stun them, and especially noticeable with the forms of a pufferfish item. So even then though, that might be something worth classifying for nosiness. So, and once again, I'm going to be playing on the GameCube controller because it's my comfortable way to able to play the game, and I think for the most part it plays out exactly like the first game, but with the forms of some, well, some new features. Well, nothing new, but aside from the fact that adding some new courses, as well as new characters and stuff like that. But that's all there is to it for the sake of this game, so... I'm gonna say, I really like the actual, the main menu, music in the background. It's so dang catchy. I think I actually kind of prefer that particular main music on, the menu music in this game more than the first one, in my opinion. But anyways, the more you collect more of those Mario coins, as you can see right there, and basically so far I've actually got 31 coins, and as I said before, the more you collect them, then you would able to actually unlock some more items and what have you. Such as, for instance, I've got myself my secondary cart for Mario, which I'll explain more details about that as soon as we complete the cup. So yes, I want to continue to move on to the next course, which is Yoshi Park 2. So basically the sequel to Yoshi Park 1, except now we're going to be ended up in the different attraction. So, because previously that we've already experienced the previous route, which actually takes place somewhere in a sweet kind of environment, but I get the feeling in there, we're actually going to be going into the actual spooky themed house. So yeah, that's basically how this goes. And I think for the most part is the fact that, oh yeah, I should probably point things out right away, is that the reason why I'm going to be turning off the live announcement off throughout the majority of the Let's Play, well, this is mainly because of multiple things. For one, I'm not overly keen on the actual voice as much as the forms of how it does it from, well, just any other things in general. And second of all, it kind of feels a bit annoying in this game, especially every time whenever you're able to actually just do like, well, let's just say if you get a boost start, or especially noticeable if the players usually just do something, or especially noticeable if you get hit by any items, then basically the narrator just keeps on saying the repeated stuff all over and over and over again, like multiple seconds. So that's the reason why I'm gonna have to turn him off for the sake of the majority of the Let's Play itself. So as a result though, that's the reason why I'm going to do it this way. Although I'm sure that most people did this a little bit differently compared to I do, well, that maybe seems entirely the case, so be I digress. So, yeah, because I mentioned this before already, that today's day is of course the 27th of November today, in this case in 2021 today, so yeah, we haven't got that long left now until we moved on to the final month of 2021, and that's of course December. So because of that, though, I'm really excited about this still, especially noticeable that Christmas is around the corner. So yeah, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day, that are you guys super excited about the films of next month? Although, I don't suppose that I believe I don't even mention about on the likes of Mario vs Donkey Kong Let's Play, or Mario hasn't mentioned about this either for the sake of WarioWare Inc. Minigame Mania Let's Play so far, that I suppose that recently that there was actually a new trailer just came up from the likes of the Sonic movie sequel, which it did happen ever since about 2 days ago, thanks to the films of the Thanksgiving Day, ever since about almost a week ago, or actually no, wait, it was actually likely 2 days ago actually, so yeah, forgive me about the fact that my day's routine does feel a little bit messy at some point, but it knows what it is. So once again, we managed to win this so far so good anyway. And of course, just like the first game, that Daisy, Bowser Jr., Diddy Kong, or Bodo will miss a chance being a playable racers. So that maybe seems totally obvious because it's the arcade game after all, so. Oh, and by the way, something's worth mentioning with the Mario coins themselves. I believe if you do manage to able to collect every single of those Mario coins throughout the race, that I think they sometimes manage to contain like 25 of those Mario coins or something like that. And then basically if you grab them all, basically you get 5 additional Mario coins that says perfect, meaning that you actually collected them all. So because of that though, definitely worth it, especially noticeable about the fact that, as you noticed, that I've actually did manage to unlock something which is, well, sometimes it can be either be carts or more photograph options, so that might be something worth mentioning for anyway, so. And of course we're going back on to Yoshi Park 1, where the aesthetics is pretty much exactly the same, so I guess there's not much different from this particular track than the first time around, so. And the actual starting boost, rocket boost starts, it plays out exactly like the first game, by the way, so it's nothing different from there, so. But anyway, so I suppose another thing I should probably explain about this as well, that the majority of the tracks, that, well, it's pretty obvious that much like the first game is the fact that sometimes on, you know, the first round and the second round, that usually you might be familiar with that stuff, but until round 3 and 4, it basically becomes like a little bit more of a repeated side of things. But aside from that, I keep hopping all of a sudden. Oh, wait a second, because I somehow transforming into a bunny, which it always kind of reminds me of the Super Mario Land 2 vibe, where you're able to actually stumble across the carrot power-up, which allows you to able to transform into a bunny power-up and stuff like that. But it knows what it is for the most part here, so... So yeah, as far as whatever I managed able to first time experiencing this game is actually obviously, as I mentioned this before, ever since in Mario Kart Arcade GP1 Let's Play, if you want to check it out. I had a lot of fond memories with Mario Kart Arcade GP2 back in the forms of in 2010. And for when I play it, it feels a bit difficult at first to able to actually just try to play the game. But after I play it now, especially noticeable on my homebrew Wii, I had a lot of fun with this game, and I even remembered a lot of this game, more than the first game, because I'm sure enough, with some new features they added in, and all that stuff, although this game also still has a time attack mode, which in order to able to actually access to that, I think you have to hold down that specific button in order to able to activate something on the main menu and stuff like that, which I haven't done, especially noticeable because I'm more accustomed to Grand Prix because of all that fun, hectic nature of it. Although that for the time attack mode itself plays out exactly like the first game, like you're still able to compete against with your time and all that stuff though, so nothing else is different from there. So anyway, so let's go ahead and keep a hold of this item right here. And of course the actual usage of the item system plays out exactly like the first game. Like every time when you hold something, such as for instance your personalized Swamp-like covers, as far as I'm concerned, what this item is usually meant for. Especially noticeable with that wonky steering wheel item that I've somehow managed to get the hold of. Basically, if you're trying to throw it right in front of the forms of the opponent that's usually ahead of you, basically you can able to actually use the lock-on cursor in order to able to aim your shot just right. And if you do that, then you can able to stun one of your opponents. So yeah, that begs the actual points itself, so... Alright, so let's see, I've basically got perfect again, and it looks like I've basically unlocked the new item, which is the star item. So even then though, oh yeah, you can also get some special items as well, if you manage to able to get more of those Mario coins, the more you've progressed. So yes, I want to continue for the next round, which is once again Yoshi Park 2. But now, in addition to the forms of going back into Yoshi Park 2 again, but also we can able to actually choose whatever items we go for. Much like in Mario Kart Arcade GP1, they only have to carry like 3 items per race. So yeah, that's something worth noting for. So for the item choice I have with me are the Star, which allows you to become invincible, Banana Peel, which allows you to able to let these opponents get slipped onto the actual Banana Peel, as well as the Thunder Stick, where you can able to actually just to keep whacking the actual, or keep on like, you know what I mean, just keep on hitting the opponents with the Thunder Stick, and that's all you have to really do. And also we actually discovered there's actually another item that we actually see on that particular display about a few seconds ago. That's what it appears to be. I think the item is called Star Mic, which I think what that does is that I'm pretty sure it might actually deal with something to do with the forms of the actual announcement feature or something like that. I have no words to say. But then again though, it has been a long while since I actually known about this game, because at this point in time, that everyone else is still waiting for the forms of the next Mario Kart game on its way, most notably Mario Kart 9, but we're still able to actually not heard anything about it yet. Especially noticeable, we keep on having a lot of updates between, well, let's just say both Mario Kart Tour, as well as the forms of Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, which it recently did happen, ever since the middle of November this month. So because of that though, that I'm sure that Mario has already mentioned about that ever since the WarioWare Inc. Minigame Mania Let's Play so far. So yeah, you probably get the idea about that specific topic worth noting for. So anyway, so let's go ahead and place the Banana Peel just right behind us, assuming if someone is actually getting closer to me and stuff like that. So and yeah, much like the forms of the first game, is the fact that sometimes, depending on what specific racetrack you race against into, basically you're able to come across into different amount of laps. Like, I think, for instance, that in Yoshi Park 2, that I think you always have to come across into 2 laps and stuff like that, at least depending on what round you're in, like round 2 or 4. And I believe, if I were assuming correctly, that round 1 for Yoshi Park 1, I think it's more accurately lap 3, or 3 laps specifically, even though it has been a long while since I actually mentioned something like this, because I'm more used to with, like, playing any other Mario Kart games, but that's how it is for my book, so... Anyway, so let's go ahead and place the banana peel just right behind us before the actual, seems like anyone else just seems to be a little bit further behind at this rate. Because again, I was expecting if I was trying to go up for the challenge for 150cc class, but it might be a bit of a struggle at points, even especially noticeable. I'm not usually great on these arcade games because I'm more accustomed to the actual console Mario Kart games for sure, but at least I will able to accept the fact. So yeah, the actual star mic I actually got. So yeah, in order to get cups this time around, in this game in particular, is that it's pretty simple. You just have to make your way for 4 rounds, and that's pretty much about it. Whilst unlike... Actually, I'll get into more now in a second, because we have a challenge time for Yoshi Park, or the Yoshi Cup, I should say. Coin collector. Collect coins, and if you get 5... you get 1 Mario coin, if you manage able to get, like, 5 coins each time. So, that's something worth classifying for saying that. And thankfully though, unlike the forms of how it does it on the original game, the first game I should say, that in order to able to get the cup on the first game is the fact that in addition to trying to complete 4 rounds for that particular cup, well, in addition to able to trying to complete the forms of the challenge game as well, that way you can get the cup that way. Whilst in here, basically to get the cup in this game is the fact that you have to go for 4 rounds, and once again you have to aim for first place in order to progress. And thankfully, the actual, the challenge game, challenges is actually, you know, entirely optional this time around. Well, it doesn't really matter if you either win or lose, well, aside from the fact that the only time you can only get rewards from is the fact that you weren't able to actually get more Mario coins, and that's pretty much about it for the sake of the forms of... Are you kidding me? Are you for real? I was literally off by 1! Oh, jeez. Oh, this isn't good. Especially noticeable that sometimes it can be imprecise sometimes with grabbing these coins anyway, so yeah, I was literally so close. Oh well, not the end of the world personally, but I will try to do this off screen if I can usually do it, so... But that gives me about 14 Mario coins I have, so at least if I was assuming correctly, so... Alright, let's see what those Mario coins I actually got so far. So I've got, yet again, a perfect from that particular Yoshi Park 2. Yeah, I just literally got 14 Mario coins, and that pretty much leads us to 54 coins I actually got from Mario coins, and that pretty much leads us to 165 coins total-wise. So... and actually unlock the next card for Peach. So, anyway, so let's continue. And what's interesting is that I can now able to pick a different racer if you manage to complete the cup. So that's pretty good. So that way we can able to have some different variety on them. So, anyway, so join me next time on Let's Play Mario Kart Arcade GP2. That is the fact that we'll move on to the next cup in the game, known as the Mario Cup. So, this might be familiar. So, see you guys tomorrow. Later, fellas.